Sometimes your ex is an ex for a very good reason, and there's no reason to make that mistake ever again. But other times, two people just need some time apart in order to realize how much they miss each other. You might be surprised by the fact that these happy couples ever broke up with one another. Before we get started, stay together with the taco by hitting the subscribe button. Let's begin. Prince William and Kate Middleton. Not only do Prince William and Kate Middleton seem like the perfect couple, but they're a perfect royal couple. Kate slipped into her role as Duchess so effortlessly that it's hard to imagine her ever not being a member of the British royal family. William has always been devoted to his family, and while that's certainly admirable, it means that he hasn't always had a lot of time for Kate. The distance between them seemed insurmountable at times, and Kate felt that William wasn't making her a priority. After 4 years, the relationship ended, and William stated that the two were busy finding themselves during their separation. But thankfully, a bit of space was just what they needed, and these two ended up finding their way back together. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. If you're wondering who would ever break up with hilarious bombshell Chrissy Teigen, the answer is John Legend. Or at least he tried to at one point during the relationship. These two have been going strong for over a decade now, so it's easy to look back and laugh about times that weren't quite so good. At the time, John Legend was on tour and was constantly busy and overwhelmed. He felt overwhelmed with stress, and even his voice hurt from constantly singing. One way he felt he could simplify his life was removing his girlfriend from it. He decided to call it quits from Teigen, but she wasn't having any of it. When he tried to end the relationship, she flat out told him no. Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. When it comes to celebrity couples, it's hard to beat the beautiful and talented pairing of Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. But in 2011, after dating for 4 years, an eternity in Hollywood time, the two abruptly called it quits. Rumors immediately began to swirl that Timberlake had cheated on Biel, but there was never any conclusive proof of this. Both parties declined to comment on the breakup, and Timberlake called Biel the single most important person in his life. Thankfully, the two got back together and became engaged in 2012. Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin. These two met as teenagers when Hailey Baldwin's father, Steve Baldwin, introduced her to Justin Bieber backstage at the Today Show. At the time, Bieber was dating Selena Gomez, and Baldwin even announced her support of the relationship on Twitter. But when Bieber and Gomez broke up, rumors immediately started that he was dating Baldwin. The pair denied their relationship for ages and insisted that they were just friends who wore each other's clothing and got matching tattoos. They seemed to date each other on and off when Bieber wasn't with Gomez, but now it seems like that's over for good. Bieber and Baldwin got engaged in 2018, so perhaps this time the relationship will stick. Kristen Bell and Shepard. To many people, Shepard and Kristen Bell seem like total couple goals. They appear to be deeply in love, make each other laugh, and look so cute together. But it wasn't always like this, and there was a time when Shepard didn't realize what he had. After dating for a brief period of time, Shepard confessed that he was still dating other people and didn't want to be with Bell exclusively. Bell admits this broke her heart, but she appreciated him being straightforward with her. Soon after, he realized his mistake and was grateful when she took him back. But Bell likes to occasionally tease him by reminding him what he almost gave up for good. Levine and Behati Prinsloo. Sometimes even the best of relationships start off with a bit of drama. Now, Levine and Behati Prinsloo are proud parents of 2 children, but the beginning of their union was a bit messy. In 2012, Levine had been dating Anne Violitsina, a friend of Prinsloo and a fellow Victoria's Secret angel. After the pair split, he and Prinsloo got together, but didn't make it last. Afterwards, Levine saw Sports Illustrated supermodel Nina Agdal for a brief period of time, but soon Levine and Prinsloo were back together and ended up married to one another. Kristen Cavallari and Cutler. Ending a romantic relationship can be really difficult, but calling off an engagement is even more so. That's what Kristen Cavallari was faced with when she was contemplating walking down the aisle to fiancé Cutler. She ended up calling off the wedding due to serious issues in their relationship. It was a drastic move, but one intended to prove she was serious about addressing issues in their relationship. Although they were officially broken off, the pair stayed in touch and even attended therapy sessions together. According to Cavallari, the two were still deeply in love and ended up getting back together and finally getting married. Pink and Carey Hart. Pink and Carey Hart have been married for over a decade, but during the time they've been together, they've actually broken up not once, but twice. The first split came after only 2 years of dating, and neither Pink nor Hart have commented about why that happened. The pair ended up getting back together after a year apart and got married soon after. But 2 years after walking down the aisle, the pair once more called it quits. According to Pink, it wasn't due to cheating, fighting, or anything else, and the pair remained close friends. After they eventually reconciled, Pink admitted that it was their hectic schedules that caused them to drift apart and separate. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. Busy lifestyles are a consistent struggle for celebrity relationships. Just ask Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. While Union was filming Being Mary Jane, she was gone for the better part of the year, which put a serious strain on the relationship. Meanwhile, Wade was also preoccupied with his career, and the two decided to take a big step back from the relationship. During this period, Wade fathered a son with longtime friend Asia Matoyer, but this wasn't enough to keep him and Union apart. The two just couldn't stay apart and got married in 2014. Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey. There was a time when Nick Lachey was involved in a high-profile relationship with singer Jessica Simpson. After filming a reality show together, the pair underwent a very public breakup. In 2006, Lachey began dating his now-wife Vanessa Manillo. But after being together for 3 years, the pair split up but assured fans that they remained close friends. Unlike many people who use that excuse, it turns out they meant it. Before long, Nick and Vanessa got back together, got married, and had 3 children together. Megan Fox and Brian Austin. When Megan Fox and Brian Austin began dating, many were concerned about this May-December relationship. Fox was only 18 years old while Austin was 30, which raised some eyebrows. But it seemed as if their relationship was going well until they abruptly split in 2009. There were the usual cheating rumors, but according to Fox, she just wasn't ready to get married at such a young age. However, their breakup was brief, and they quickly married and had 2 sons. In 2015, Fox filed for divorce, but that was put on hold, and she became pregnant with a son named Journey. For now, it seems like this couple is back together and doing well. Michael Phelps and Nicole Johnson. Sometimes in life you're lucky enough to meet the right person, but not at the right time. That seems to be what happened to Michael Phelps and Nicole Johnson, who began dating in 2007. Although the pair are now happily married with 2 children, Nicole claims that it took a long time to get to that point. Earlier in their relationship, they were on and off at several points. Adding marriage and children to that would have certainly been a recipe for certain disaster. Thankfully, this adorable couple waited until they were ready, and their relationship is all the better for it. According to Nicole, both of them had a lot of growing up to do. Elle King and Andrew Ferguson. In the beginning, it seemed like there was no way the romance between Elle King and Andrew Ferguson would work out. The two met in a London hotel lobby and got engaged a mere 12 days later on a sailing trip. After a whirlwind courtship and wedding, the two soon found themselves in divorce court. Who would have thought getting married 3 weeks after meeting was a bad idea? Although they separated, it turns out they just couldn't stay apart from one another. The two have since reconciled and vow to continue with their marriage. It seems they're getting a fresh start, and hopefully they move a little bit slower this time. Meg Ryan and John Mellencamp. Sometimes when a relationship finally ends, we're left wondering just what went wrong. However, when things ended between Meg Ryan and John Mellencamp, both parties knew what went wrong. According to Mellencamp, women tend to hate him, and he knows exactly why. He compared his behavior to that of a child and admits that he's been known to complain and throw fits at the slightest provocation. Apparently, Meg Ryan is no exception to the list of people who find this behavior tiresome, and the couple split up for 3 whole years. He made various reconciliation attempts during that time, but finally one worked and the two got back together. There have even been rumors that the two might even get married. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. When Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth are together, they always appear totally over the top in love. But 3 years into the relationship, Miley pulled the plug, but she had a very good reason. She explained that despite loving Liam, she was struggling to find herself. As things were, she felt like they were 2 halves trying to make a whole instead of 2 complete people on their own. Despite being back together and better than ever, Miley claims she doesn't regret their time apart. Although she didn't know if they would ever end up together again, she felt the break was necessary in order for her to grow as a person. Sam Hunter and Hannah-Lee Fowler. On-again, off-again relationships can be frustrating for a couple and everyone around them. But that's the situation Sam Hunter and Hannah-Lee Fowler found themselves in for about a decade. For Hunter, it was actually a boom to his musical career. He named his album Montevallo after Fowler's hometown and found plenty of inspiration for his music in their relationship, both positive and negative. During their splits, Hunter would do anything to reconcile with Fowler. One year, he admits to flying out to her 7 times over the course of 3 months, begging her to come back with him. On the 7th and final trip, he finally won her over. They got married just 3 months later. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt. There are a lot of things we could say about this dubiously famous couple, but there's no denying that Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt are still going strong. Pratt was looking for a way onto the hills and figured out that hooking up with a cast member was the quickest way. The two were seemingly inseparable, even getting engaged a number of times. Of course, many of those were manufactured for television, but they did end up getting legally married at one point. But then they filed for divorce. According to Pratt, Montag still loved him, but nobody else did. Being married to him was destroying her career, so he decided tempted to take a huge step back, but not too far because these two ended up sticking it out and remaining married. Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman. They may not be the most glamorous couple in Hollywood, but the relationship between Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman has lasted over 40 years. That's certainly nothing to sneeze at, especially after 30 years married and 3 children together. So the world was shocked when it was announced in 2012 that the pair would be splitting. Surely if these two can't make it work, who among us can? Thankfully, they ended up reconciling. They separated again briefly in 2017, but Rhea admitted she has no intention of leaving. Not only are they back together, but there's talk of renewing their wedding vows. Snoop Dogg and Shante Broaddus. There are a lot of things that come to mind when you think of Snoop Dogg, and successful long-term relationship might not be one of them. But it should be because he's been with his wife Shante Broaddus since 1997. Things weren't always easy, and the two ended up filing for divorce in 2004. Snoop has since confessed that on his journey to become successful, he lost sight of maintaining his relationship. He was blind to the ways that he was hurting Shante and ultimately himself until it was almost too late. Luckily, Shante was willing to give him a second chance, and the two are now better than ever. Patrick Dempsey and Gillian Fink. After 15 years of marriage, things were looking grim between Patrick Dempsey and his wife Gillian Fink. It seemed like their relationship had run its course and Fink finally filed for divorce. However, Dempsey was willing to fight for his marriage and refused to go down without a fight. He cut back on his motorsports obsession, sought therapy, and worked on putting his marriage first. Dempsey claimed that he wasn't ready to let go of his marriage, and apparently neither was Fink. The two are still married and are now very much in love. Do you think that these couples are going to stay together for good this time? Let us know what you think in the comments section, then hit the subscribe button for more from the taco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.